All right, legends, we are here for our buy planning 2025. It's a really fun topic. The last few years we've had it the exact same. So we're just kind of getting used to that. And then now there's a bit of a spanner in the works with the new rules around the minor buys, which we're going to get into. And if you do want to see, the other video I did about just the general rules around, planning for the whole year, how to structure your whole season, then head back to the start of the season there. You'll find that one. This is about rounds 12 to 19 and how to get through it. And also around trades as well. That's actually the one I missed, which will be trades remaining, which is going to be a big thing as well. So we'll go through all this first one around those rules and in those rounds and how to get used to it. Number two is going to be about should I get to 12 players now or kind of wait till round 11 or round 12 and then sort of trade heavy there. We can work that one out for us. Major and minor buys. They're more difficult. Which one's going to be harder for you? Previously, it has been the minor buys. Has it changed, or is it just different? What to look out for positionally? To have the best players on the park each week. Because you might have good players in one week, and then the next week you are struggling in that position because one or two of those guys have a buy. So really, just looking into that as well, and how to manage that across the time. The good teams to target for the whole period. This morning's video, yesterday's video, went through the top three teams to target there, and that's more for this little section coming up. But there are teams in there that have limited amount of buys or buys when it hurts you the least. So we'll check that out. The best round 12 team, which does change week to week with injuries and the like. And we've also got Andrew, Katrina, and Maddie on here as well. And we're going to go through their teams just to make it nice and clear. So firstly, with the new rules, guys, just to make sure we know where we're at, it's just looking at the private group team here. So from round 12, if you are following on video here, where my cursor is, this main starting 13 is the only scores that do count. So it's going to be the same for round 12, 13, and then 15, 16, 18, and 19. What you can do is some looping as well. So if you have three edges, and right now you can look at this side here. Let's pretend Egan and Couchman are all playing in round 12. You have Egan available, Couchman available, and Katonga available. If you then have an edge that's not playing, like you can see here with Nafahu White this week, who has the mid-edge duel, you could do looping as you normally do. And how it works is it just takes that first guy on your interchange. So if you had someone in interchange 3, given this whole section on the side here doesn't count, right? So you loop them in that position. If you don't like how they scored, you either just move the guy that you had down here, which, in that scenario would be Egan. Let's just make that nice and simple. So let's pretend it's this week. You wanted to loop Katonga in the first game. You didn't like it. Awesome. Egan could just switch back in for Nafahu White, or you put Egan ahead of Katonga. So very, very similar looping practices, but you don't get whatever scores are on your bench unless it's auto emergency, exactly the same as round 12. So they're the important ones, but just be aware of that. You can have an absolutely stacked team in round 13 in that minor buy, and it will actually hurt you because you don't need all of those players. And secondly, we'll just get straight into that one. So should I get to 12 players now or wait until round 11 or 12 to have it sorted? So we got Katrina's team here, so she's back in action. Katrina, we'll get you off mute there, and we can have a little chat around your side. So heading into round 12 there, we've got Egan at hooker, so we'll go through the numbers there for her. We don't have any mids there in the starting side. The Dragons boys are gone. Fogarty's available, so there's 2 so far. We've got Marju, Sharp, and Tamale. It's for 5. And then we've got Riley Smith there. So unfortunately for her, doubling up in the hooking position. And therefore she can only take one of those scores. Even though Riley's available that week, likely we're just going to take Egan's score unless you have a looper. But I don't know if we're going to be able to hold Mamazellis all the way to just loop. So she'll probably just play Egan straight up in that week. Is that your plan, Kat?
Yeah, it is at the moment. I haven't got into trades or anything like that for the week. I am looking at, I've got my schedule set out for round 12 to 19 with the players that I've currently got where they fit in.
Nice.
So I know where the gaps are. So yeah, Peter Mamouloulis, I plan to trade out, and Steep I plan to possibly trade out um this week to try and fill in some gaps for round 12. Round 12 and round 18 are really hurting me with my current side.
Yeah, I guess so. I've got the five there. We'll say pretend Horsburgh's out because we think we might. Halasima comes in on the edge for six, and then Savali into half. Nawangani into centre. Gets you to eight there. So yeah, definitely a few gaps coming into round 12.
Yep.
Who who are you looking at coming into the next few weeks, and who are you looking to sell out of your guns?
Oh, to be honest, I haven't given it too much thought. Oh, that's my process for the next couple of days. I've had a shocking week. Um, I am looking at possibly Yo. Are we sure May will play Origin?
Not 100%, but yeah, he probably finds his way on that bench. I don't think he's going to play a big minute, so like May's someone that I'm definitely going to hold through the
Yeah,
period.
I'm not touching any of like Horsburgh, Yo, May, or Huss at this stage
Hmm.
until we find out who's playing Origin.
Okay.
And then I'll trade them. So I'm really sort of focusing on the others. I know in round 18 I've got no wing fullbacks at this stage.
Okay.
I'm looking at possibly JC.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a fun little TLT, wasn't it, with him coming back?
so um, all I sort of know at the moment is out of the four that are in the reserves, I'm going to keep Marky Mark.
Hmm.
All the other three are up for possibly need to go so I can fill the 13 spot. Um, and then do what I want to do this week, have a really good look at what's coming up next week. And so I'm pretty much set. Just have to worry about mids then on round 12.
Yeah, like everyone. Yeah, this week is probably only like Mabazelis and Steep. They're the only two
Most
that
likely, yeah.
that are actually trades, and the rest are yeah, Savala's going well.
Yep.
Halasima, he's got up to 80 minutes, which is cool. And Horsburgh looks like he's going to play this week, so that's potentially good news as well. And the rest of the team's looking pretty good. Cat, where's the rank now after
Oh,
after
you
this
don't
week?
really don't want to know, Jamie.
Are we
It's
going
not
up or
good.
down?
Oh, we're going all over the place.
Oh,
Um, so I did get back up to about 28. I'm currently sitting in 24,000.
okay. So yeah, you
And
sort
it
of
just,
hanging.
I have a look at the other teams and I'm like, I'm not that much different.
No, I agree.
Even with the teams that are captaining May, I'm not that much different, but it's just you only need to be out 5, 10, 15 points
Yeah.
and you can drop so many ranks.
Yeah, and you're similar to me this week, just missing that one or two big scores that everyone got, and Fogarty a little bit of a down one, and you
I
played
I
had
I
Egan, which is
traded
good.
out. I traded out Toya obviously
Yeah,
for more.
yeah,
I got rid of Ponga. Um,
yeah. So they're just the unlucky things that happen, eh,
they
sometimes.
were two of the lucky ones. I plan on getting Nathan back. I'm not sure whether he's worth getting in for round 12 to 19. My plan was originally just to get him back in after Origin season,
Yeah,
and I think I'll still stick with that plan.
that's a good call. Andrew, we'll get you in the plans now, and just answering that second one there. Of should I get to that 12 players now? If you're sitting in a similar situation to Cat at that 8 9 type of number, then I'd probably suggest getting to over the next 2 weeks, at least getting to sort of 11 or 12. Just because we saw this week with injuries and suspensions, it can drop you down a peg or two in one week, and then you're having to three or four trade in that week, and you don't want to leave it to I need to, and then you're forced to trade certain guys or anything like that. But there's also a thing in over planning, which is something I found last year, is that I got to my 13 number really, by a round or two before, and then I couldn't trade guys like Cotter, if we had Robson, these types of guys that could have, and probably should have been trades to help you out through the entire buy period. They end up staying in the side and probably planned a little bit early. And there is room, I think, to trade in a guy that isn't playing round 12. There's guys like Hughes and that are available this week that you could get if you want that can help you out in the other weeks rather than just round 12. But Andrew, there with your side there, sitting in the lovely 11th, and we had you on last time. I think you were, I don't know if it was the week you were sixth or somewhere in that top 50. You were still flying, and you were in the car in the dark. So it's good to see you. What do you say? You're in Seoul, eh, at the moment?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, we're just here for a few days. So yeah, no, it's been a really good place to be. Managed to watch a few games on the NRL app, but yeah, no, it's been good.
Yeah, and
Uh,
flying
uh,
flying up the ranks with a nice 11:57, mate, and some good scores all around. We managed to loop into you, and yeah,
yeah,
sitting in
yeah.
a good
Well,
spot, mate. Talk us through
yeah.
your setup for buys and any just sort of general plans, without giving too much away for the people that you're up against.
Oh, hey, I mean, it's all just good fun anyway. So yeah, I mean, my challenge this week is getting a team on the park because I looped all my roosters last week, which meant I didn't trade out any of them. And so yeah, I've got four roosters still in the team who all did well, and none of them are sells. In terms of Tedesco, Savala, Toya, and White, because I need White as a mid for round 12. So pretty much means I'm forced to trade Mamazelis and Stafford Toa, which lets me sort out a couple of round 12 issues because I'll probably get either Jazz Tavanga or Saifiti and get Dylan Lucas because I was planning last week to upgrade my centres, but with Toya going so well, I didn't get the opportunity to do that. So yeah, I think
Gotcha.
I'm getting fairly close, but yeah, I'd be saying yeah, by sort of you want to have 11 or 12 for round 12 going into next week effectively, and then yeah, it's make the calls on Yo, on Cleary. Cleary just with knocking out such big scores, he's a little bit more tempting to keep. But yeah, I think Yo can probably be sacrificed, though you know that he's the guy who's most certain to back up. So I'll have a look quite closely at that. But yeah, how I'm by planning is very much I'm looking at round 12. I've got a tiny eye on round 15. I'm sort of acutely aware that it's Manly, it's the Roosters, and like I should know the third team that plays all three bye rounds. I think it's the Dogs. So they are
Mm.
those are the teams that I guess if I get the opportunities, I'll try and target those. But initially, it's targeting those first couple of buys. I haven't even thought about round 18. There's just so much that changes, and a bit like you in the past when you lock in players too early and you're holding them for the buy, and then they start to become either they're scoring poorly or
Yeah,
they're at risk of getting dropped. It's you don't want to be too ready too soon.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely positives to it, but there's the other side, and I think that, as you said, the holding on part can be the tough one for sure. Now let's go. Major and minor buy is more difficult, and I think this just brings up the topic of looking at our round 13 there, mate, and with just the three teams on the buy, and yes, we're going to have people backing up, but if we're looking at Origin players in your side right now, it's the three mids there, most likely. We've got Cleary and then a chance for Tedesco, and you're sitting with Latrell and maybe Horsburgh. So what, two to three of those guys probably move out the side already, and then in round 13, majority of your guys are set up to play, aren't they, in round 13?
Yeah, maybe this is wrong, but I'm not even remotely thinking about round 13.
Okay, this will be a good
I'm just
discussion.
thinking about which Origin players to keep and who to get for rounds 12, 15, 18. Like they're the hard ones. Round 13 will just land as it does. There'll be some looping opportunities and we'll have a few too many players. But yeah, over optimizing round 13 feels like very much a sort of lower order priority behind getting people on the field for 12 and 15.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with that. There's definitely something to think about with that though, because if we haven't looked at our sides and then we come into it, let's just say we are holding, let's just say we hold Haas and May, we sell Yo in your setup.
Yeah,
You've then probably got a couple of big dog mids coming in, whether it's Tarpany, whether it's AFB, McInnes, etc., etc.
yeah. You
And
could end
then
up with too many, agree.
yeah, and then you could be just leaving, 50s, 55, 60s on your pine in those weeks. And that's probably the benefit of having like Couchman that can be dual, or I suppose you got
Yeah.
Nafahu White down there that, in that scenario, he probably doesn't get on the park for you. And I think
Well,
there's something to think about with that stuff to
yeah,
spreading it a little bit.
yes, for sure. Like, well, he doesn't, yeah, like Nafahu White doesn't play 13, but yeah, I'm going to end up with too many mids and edges, but trying to solve that problem, I'll solve it if I can, but it might be that I'm better to just live with that problem and hold a trade rather than optimize that through if the score in round 13 is still going to be good.
Hmm.
And I guess that'll just be the challenge is how many trades, and I'm sitting on 20. I saved two last week. But yeah, I've certainly been trading hard. So some point you have to take the foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's probably a good topic. We'll bring Maddie in for this one. Thanks for that, Andrew. With
No worries.
with the trading and our sections of sort of round 12 and 13 there, we're sitting in a spot where if you're at like 25 trades or something like that, then I do think it probably doesn't matter as much. And I think you just go in and keep making your best side and going on from there. But if you are a little bit lower on trades, then maybe it could be smarter to think about spreading your players across that time frame. Using a few, which might allow you to use a few less trades because if you're completely stacked for 13, that probably means you're hurting a little bit later, and then you might have to trade a little bit more for it. So that's probably the main thing. Like it's definitely so much easier this year, but that's probably just the main thing, and it could be a reason why some people are looking at cheapies. Maddie, you want to jump on there now? Chuck yourself off mute as well. Are you thinking about potentially grabbing
Well,
a Saifidi or these cheaper guys in mid that might help that issue we're talking about with having like five or six really, really good mid players for 13 and just not worrying about that cheapie there?
Me? Not
Yes.
really. Um, like my team, I've got Horse, Haas, and I've bought Clark 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
Who else did I have there? And I
FB.
bought Aiden AFB, which kind of he's had a couple of down weeks and one good week since I got him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's had a tough little run, but hopefully when it really matters over that next few weeks, he comes back into some big minutes again. Because yeah, that 70 was good, but not good in this one here, mate. But yeah, have you had a little bit of a look at your buy planning as well? Is there a spot that you're worried about, or any questions you sort of have there?
Um, well, because I traded to uh, Toya last week from the Roosters
Yeah,
center.
like us all.
Um, Looks like I'm down a winger fullback center for round 12.
Tonga,
Unless
Tamale. You seem you'll be all good if Teddy's there. You've got Garrick and
that's
and
right. I was
Katonga. They
looking
can
at
fill in.
trading Katoga this week. That's right. And I haven't done that because I would be down the center for round 12.
Okay.
Um,
I don't mind it if you want to. Like, it just seems like he's not going to be that helpful for us, hey. And if you have someone better in mind, maybe even if it's not this week, it sounds like you'll be down one, but over the next two, like, have you got anyone in mind down there that sounds appealing to you as a like more of a gun rather than getting someone that like keeping someone like him that's probably a 35 to 40 guy?
no, well, I was looking at edges more so I could play Lucas in the center. I was thinking
Yep.
of Kai Pierce Paul,
Yeah.
to be
Okay.
honest,
Yeah, that's a
as a bit of a pod option.
That's a good little segue actually, because I mentioned today about the Knights being a really good team for the schedule that they've got in terms of opponents, but just their ability to not have to worry about them and buys all the way through until 18, and you know getting off a few nights or something like that if you want to come 18, given they have the round 22 buy as well. That's something, just building in that position, that could be very helpful for you. And Andrew
Well,
mentioned the other couple of teams too in Manly and Roosters and Doggies that all have good little sections there. That's the big part of it, is collecting players from those teams that does help you over the period and does make it a little bit easier. And if they're guns and scoring well, it just it just doubles up on how helpful it is for you.
and depending on how long Pete the Gun is out for, maybe Havili.
Really, yeah. Well, he's definitely one of the cheapies this week. There's actually a few. Hey, there's Jazz Tavanga keeps the 13. We've got Hamish Stewart in the 13 as well. You've got Avili that he probably gets a month in pretty good minutes, you'd say, maybe 60 or so. Like we've seen him in there before and kind of doing a solid job with 40s, and then you've got King Tagia as a cash down as well. As are you
Yeah,
are you thinking of
at the
making
moment
some?
I've got Pete down to King Tongia and Munster to Hines.
Oh,
That's
cheeky.
what I'm thinking at the moment, and maybe holding my third trade for now.
Yeah, and how many trades you got right now?
That would bring me down to 20 if I made two this week.
Okay, yeah, so you're a little bit better than Andrew and I there. So yeah, I don't think that's a problem at all. Going a couple there, or even three if you wanted to make an upgrade there. But just looking at your side at the
It would
moment,
leave
you've
it would leave me 297K in the bank if I only made two trades.
yeah, well there you go, and that's where it could be
And
fun to
I'm
make
just a
another
bit
one.
unsure of where to go this week is all.
Is there anyone out there that you like that you might be interested in if you could make a trade to them?
I said Kai Pierce Paul was the one jumping out at me when I was having a bit of a look.
Oh, that's right. You didn't have him coming in. Um, yeah, well, in that scenario, I suppose you could go like the Katonga or the Jackson Purdue or
Yeah, they were
Hubner.
the two I was looking at. And then am I looking for round 13? I'm pretty sure I'm sweet for winger fullbacks and centers for round 13.
Yeah, you should be sweet. You've just got AFB out and Garrick. So
Looking at Humphreys,
sorry,
go
Dolphin Shaw.
freeze at some point.
Yeah, you've got no doggies, no dolphins. So you've only got AFB out right now for round 13. So that's where like
And
adding.
brought in, and at the moment I'm bringing in Hines.
Oh, sorry, you have two. Yeah. Yeah, it's even adding
So
another one or something would be fine too. Or
I was
yeah, just getting
thinking bringing
KPP as an upgrade, that kind of stuff.
looking at Humphreys at some stage, not this week, but maybe next week or the week after to
Oh, the
cover
hump go.
for Hines in round 13.
Yeah, well, I hope he goes back to scoring really well. That would be fun.
Yeah,
Not sure.
just
He's
want
so
to see how he
expensive, eh?
goes with Latrell.
Yeah, they're both going to be taking the left footed kicks. They both have just as big a boot as each other, eh?
That's it. It's pretty
Mm,
hectic.
yeah, it's very. Where are we? Where are those questions?
See how they
That's
go.
interesting. It's interesting. There's definitely plenty to think about. There's less. I think it's less difficult, but there's still a lot to go at, lot to work out there. But
I've been planning for round 12 and 13 for a couple of weeks with the AFB and Clark coming in a couple of weeks ago and 3 weeks ago each,
well, yeah, you go. The Clark one.
respectively.
The Clark one really worked out a few weeks ago, and the AFB one hasn't as much. So yeah, it's probably a good example for people that there's positives and negatives to
Yeah,
to preparing early.
yeah, AFB got that strain the first week I brought him in,
Oh, yep, yep, yeah. So you were
and
pretty early
then
then. You got him a
busted
while
out the
ago.
70. Yeah,
Yeah, And then yeah, what to look out for positionally to sort of have the best players on park each week is kind of what we're talking about before with having too many mids in one in one week, or if you have two players in the in the one team that play in the same position, whether it's you were hoping to play Nwangani Tawaze and Toya in the one spot, and yeah, this week you're in a bit of trouble, or like round 14 you're in a bit of trouble there and stuff like that, or yeah, just those little stacks is probably just to be aware of those things. And in here in this side, Furmore and Purdue both missing round 12, so just making sure that the coverage is there. How do you go? Do you have the two edges for round 12, but then they're both missing in round 15? They're just simple things like that, I think are very important to check out as well. Darren's in here as well, mate. Do we want to get your team up? Let us know what rank you are. I'll find your team and get you off mute as well, Daz.
Cheers, Jamie.
Cheers, Matty. I'll let you work that one. There he is.
How's that?
There you go. He's
How's
set.
that?
Welcome in, mate. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, how's it going?
We're good.
My rank in the private group on number 30.
Good. There we
And
go. Way past me. Way past Matty, unfortunately. Sad. 448. Good stuff, Daz.
yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah.
How are you feeling? What's going on? Buy planning, trades this week. Where we at?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with the buy planning at the moment, actually. I'm just short a couple of mids.
Yeah, like us
Three,
all.
like us all. I'm looking at maybe Katonga down to Jazz this week,
Okay.
or Memazulis down to Jazz, actually,
Mm-hmm.
just to cover that up, because I've got Aaron Clark, obviously, as well for
And play
13.
mid.
Yeah. So I'm
Cool.
just looking at that, and then I'm just maybe thinking of just holding just to see how Oangi goes in the first game.
Yep. And Katonga and stuff like that.
And
Yep.
yeah,
So
just
similar to me,
see
I
how
think,
they
that way.
go. Yeah, because I got the two Roosters, I can
Mm.
sort of loop in those two in the first game.
Yeah, I like the look of that. And then yeah, you've got 19 available after that trade. You probably want to be looping Jazz as well then, probably.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just thinking of sitting back for this round, maybe hopefully only using one and
Okay.
see how I go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Hopefully
yeah,
Horse plays then too.
what's that?
Hopefully Horsburgh plays. That was a bit of a weird one.
Yeah. No, I got pretty lucky last week. I thought it was time to move on from Yo, so
Oh,
I
you went.
managed to pick up. What's that?
You went with it. Nice.
So I managed to pick up Lucas, Carraz, and Clark last week. So
Yeah, nice.
had a bit of a win.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You can go that week early, similar to what I did with Watson. Um, you did it with Yo, and it
Yeah.
worked out. Nice work. Yeah, the squad's looking pretty good overall. What positionally wise, you're sitting pretty good for round 12 right now.
Yeah, I am.
Nicholson,
I've got everyone lined up except the mids.
the
And that's
two
why I'm thinking
three
Jazz this
mids.
week, just to
Yeah.
leave a couple for the last couple rounds beforehand.
Yeah. Which would you be looking to sell a Payne Haas or a Cleary? Are they in your
Nah,
thoughts?
no, I'm looking at keeping those two.
Okay.
I'm thinking if Horsburgh gets picked,
Yep.
to drop him down to white.
Cool.
Yeah, and then that just leaves me one more mid to find somewhere. Whether I go, I don't know. I might drop down to Leo Thompson as well or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you probably got like these Hubners that even Yongi, like if he's average, could go up a little
Y-
bit. Find that
Yeah,
couple hundred K or something.
yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't want to do too much in the mids because if I'm keeping Haas and May, you can't use them obviously going forward
Yeah.
if you buy too many guns.
Yeah, I was thinking Elliot today too. I was like, oh, you might sell Haas, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, oh, he's pumped out three scores, 88 and above now. Like he could
Yeah,
do it
he's too
in
good.
a backup game. Like, yeah, it's hard, isn't it? But And that's probably the other thing is thinking about how many actual high value guys there are. And like we've got Campbell coming back this week that won't make Origin, but everyone else is like it's like Tarpany at 770 and it's all 700k guys. So maybe you
Yeah,
don't have to sell Haas to get the guns. And like our team value is really high, isn't it?
yeah. The only thing with Haas is they historically keep his minutes back during the Origin period, don't they, Brisbane?
Yeah, near 50. But
So
we know as we've seen, he can score really well in those minutes, hey.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Other than that, I think it's pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, you're doing well. Doing well. Congrats, mate. Good round, good trade-ins, and obviously we're going well
Yeah,
before that as well. So
yeah,
maybe just a little update here. I reckon we can discuss the what do we got? 4 minutes. Just the best round 12 players. And look, it seems like we've got a lot of them in general down there. And you're looking at Fletcher Sharps, Marzu's down in wing fullback, like Tedesco, I think. Yeah, the way he's playing, if he doesn't make Origin, he feels like a
yeah.
really good wing fullback guy. Who might we be looking to captain, do we think, in round 12?
For me, I'd ooh,
It's hard, isn't
probably
it?
Lucas.
Yeah, like
Probably Lucas.
he feels the safest, doesn't he? Like it's
Yeah, he's consistent.
is it like do you get Tarpany and maybe he's your captain? Like he could be he could be the best captain, which is pretty wild to think. Do you go the safety in like Fogs? Like there's no one that really stands out in that week, whereas others there's a few that do have definitely stand out.
Do,
Um, where are you at
do
trades
you
wise,
think
Darren?
you uh
Where are you at
do
trades
you
wise?
think you need one? Think you need that one gun mid? If you're holding Haas and May, do you think you need one gun mid in round 13 rather than going three cheapies?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
You do.
Yeah, I think an AFB or a McInnes or a Tarpany. I think one of them at least. You could go two as well, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I think if you're selling Haas and Horsburgh and or Yo, then maybe you can go the two like two big dogs. But if you're
yeah,
holding
okay.
Haas, maybe you just go one big dog and maybe a cheapie, and then you've
And
got
a couple of
Haas in
cheapies.
the other weeks that are like having Haas in round 14 as captain again could be awesome. So yeah,
Yeah,
things like that are fun to think of for sure.
okay.
Yeah, did you say how many trades you had?
I got 19.
Yeah, they're all fairly similar. Matty, you got the most out of all of us, so go you. That'll make you feel better for being down near 3,000 with me. So a crazy
Want to
what?
throw in,
Yeah,
I captained Ponga in round three instead of Haas
that's right.
for his century.
Oh, you had Haas, but yeah,
Yeah, I
didn't
was
captain him. Yeah. Well,
not
there's
burning.
they're the things that yeah stop you from sleeping at night. Thinking back at what is that 70 points or whatever. What does that get me in rankings? I've done that too many times. It's tough on the old soul, but yeah, it's probably
That's just my worst week. It's happened every week with my captain, pretty much. I always go second or third pick.
we that's the thing. Yeah, we keep moving it around and that makes it tough for sure. But yeah, guys, we know the buy planning, the buy period is a section of time where you can make ranks and you could also struggle a bit as well. But I think that was cool to think about is captaincy as well because we won't have the three big dogs in round 12, 15, 18. So if there's someone that you can at least get for two of those major buys that you think is the safest or has the most upside, like we've seen with some of these wing fullbacks you could go for like Sharps and that could have big rounds, or do you go safety and Lucas or upside with Tarpany or AFB, these types of guys. It's all fun to think about. And those, 50 and 100 points in those buy rounds can, if you're chipping away and if you build a nice team value, you can continue to get 50 and 100 points ahead each week and, you know, have as many of those good guys on the park across each of those, each of those weeks, I think will make a lot of people's season. And then if you do have a couple of trades left over before we get to that round 19, round 20, then you can capitalize on getting those guns back and making those fun moves that can help win fantasy. And we saw one of our boys, Hayden, last year. He saved a fair few trades, went hard through the buy period and in the back end of the season, and he pushed from like 3,000 into Knights. So it can happen for everyone. And big thanks to you guys for coming on as well. And I think we'll leave it there before we fall off. That's the buy planning. Good luck, everyone, and let us know how you go across the weeks.